everybody, it's Red Bad again with another episode of Advanced Wino Training. Today we're going to go over a big subject, one that we need to get out of the way before we get too far, and that is what to do when a taste is presented by the som. And I'll go over this in 4 parts, one leading into the next basically. The first one is just taste the wine, even if you don't know what you're doing. You don't have to be an expert. All you have to do is taste the wine and find out if the wine tastes like wine. If it tastes like wine, great, you've done your job. Move on. Let the wine be poured. But if it doesn't, then we got an issue, and that leads into the next part of this, and that's proofing. The real thing that you're doing, two things that you're doing is one thing is proofing. And that's looking for the flaws. And I'm going to make a video about flaws. There's a lot of great information already out there. I definitely suggest looking at Wine Folly and their videos. But even if you look at the Quartermaster videos, there's a lot of great videos out there for detecting flaws in wine. So I won't go too much into that yet. But that is the main thing that you're doing when you're tasting the wine. Don't forget that. 2, the second thing that you're doing when you're tasting the wine is making sure that we're going down the right path. Before you order the wine, you should already have a good idea of what that wine is like. If you didn't already know, the sommelier or the staff that's involved, they should give you a good picture of what that wine is going to be like. Now, if you taste the wine and it's completely different, then you're being misled. That's a misled sale. That's the third part of our discussion here. And with a little bit of tact, you could communicate with the sommelier about this situation. You just say, hey, you know, I hate to do this, but I was under the impression that the wine was going to be like A, B, C, but it's not. It's more like X, Y, Z. Please taste for yourself. What can we do about this? And let me tell you, 100% of the time, the sommelier is going to be happy to find you the right wine. And it's not a big loss. The restaurant can sell it by the glass or use it for staff training. There's a lot of things that can happen. And even if the wine is flawed, let's say it's corked or cooked, then the vendor is going to be able to replace that bottle of wine. So don't feel bad if you find flaws or if you feel completely misled in the sale. 2 good reasons to send the bottle back. Now, this leads into the 4th part of this discussion, and that is the fact that this taste test is not a test to tell whether you like the wine or not. It's not a favorites test. And that goes back to the fact that you should already have a good idea of what the wine is going into it. There is a misconception that started somewhere along the line, and this happens with novice wine drinkers who are just starting to get comfortable with ordering a bottle in a restaurant, and they feel like tasting the wine is a test of whether they like the wine or not. And this becomes costly, and this is doing something like saying, oh, you know, I don't really care for this specific nuance or this sort of style of this wine, you know, let's try something else. It's not a taste room. It's a restaurant, and you should already, you know, having that idea of what that wine is, and that goes back to the 3rd part of making, you know, the sommelier making sure you have a good idea of what that wine is. Then there shouldn't be an issue about style preference or nuances. If the wine is sound and the wine is quality, then move on. Take that into note that maybe you don't like this certain producer, and don't order it again, but move on. Let's drink the wine. Let's serve it. There's nothing wrong with it. Next time we'll open something else up. That's the whole game with wine. It's a little bit of a lottery. It's not always going to turn out exactly the way that you like it to every time. And honestly, with a little bit of patience, a lot of those wines that people find maybe a little bit of off when it comes out the bottle, I don't want to say off, but maybe too aggressive or high in alcohol, or it's just real pent up, wine opens up. Give it a little bit. Give it some time to breathe. Give it some time to air, and you actually might come. The wine will come around to you. You will come around to the wine. So don't be too quick to judge if the wine is sound and the wine is quality. Just remember, it's not a taste test for favorites. So that covers the main 4 points about what to do or what not to do when a taste test is presented of the wine that was just ordered. And I think that's all I have to say about that. Don't forget to like and subscribe my videos. And thank you so much for watching, and feel free to leave a comment and let me know if there's actually maybe a subject that you want to see talked about. Have a good day. Cheers.